They don't like outsiders at all. I found more than a few stories about travelers being attacked in the surrounding woods.
By what? I know. We were all meant.
Depends on the question.
What's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy, it's your homie Futuristic Mike, and I'm on here with the first ever Lovecraft Country video on the channel. This is the first episode ever. It came on last night on HBO. The first episode called Sundown. If you're a fan of Lovecraft Country, if you love Lovecraft Country, hit the like on this video. If you're new to my channel and this is the first time you're finding me, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you can always see when I'm dropping some content so you never miss any Lovecraft Country news. Now, the description to this episode, Sundown, reads: Atticus Freeman embarks on a journey in search of his missing father, Montrose, after recruiting his uncle George and childhood friend Letitia to join him. The trio sets out for Ardham, Massachusetts, where they think Montrose may have gone. Man, let me tell you, man, this was a great start to Lovecraft Country. So far, I think this show is excellent. It is so good, and you know, every single time Jordan Peele is involved in something, it just turns to gold. And that's just a fact, man. Every single time he is involved, no matter what, it just is a masterpiece. That's just the bottom line. But there was two big names involved in Lovecraft Country, Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams. They teamed up on HBO's Lovecraft Country, a horror series blending the reality of 1950s Jim Crow America and the supernatural terror of H.P. Lovecraft. The show follows Atticus, or Tick Freeman, on a road trip with his friend Letitia Lewis and Uncle George. In Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 1, Tick set out towards Massachusetts with Letitia and George, who was writing a travel guidebook for African Americans. Now let's get to the basics. Pop's letter. Tick napped on a bus to Chicago where he had an intense dream blending war combat against aliens, a sexy female alien, and a monster fighting Jackie Robinson. Now, he loved pulp novels and had served in the Korean War. However, when the bus broke down, a truck took the white people to town, while Tick walked with the black woman who was at the back of the bus with him. Now, in Chicago, he popped in on his Uncle George Freeman and his wife, Hippolyta, I think that's her name, and their daughter Diana, who drew sci-fi comics. Tick shared a letter from his father, Montrose, that told him of a secret legacy on his mother's side. He'd gone missing 2 weeks prior to this. She came from Ardham, Massachusetts. Now, Uncle George traced the town to Devon County and agreed to take him. Tick's childhood friend Letitia joined them on the trip, as they would be making a stop at her brother's place. So she was just trying to get to her brother's spot, and she just wanted to go with them. They were going on a journey across the country. Now, during this time in the 1950s, life on the road for Black Americans was very crazy. You know, there was still a lot of racism going on back then, and they knew that they were in for it. So, you know, they had to make sure they had enough gas. They had to make sure they had spare tires. They had to make sure they had everything they needed to go on this little road trip. They had to make sure they had stuff that they could go to the bathroom in outside. They had to make sure that they had every little thing that they thought they would need on this huge road trip. So Uncle George wanted to check out a little diner. However, things were tense as they sat down. Now, Letitia went to the restroom and she was eavesdropping, and she saw the waiter on the phone talking about them. Luckily, she was back there eavesdropping, because if she hadn't gone back there, then they probably would have got shot. Now, she came out and she rushed Tick and George out of the diner as they realized that the diner had previously been set on fire. Now, with Letty driving, a truck full of white men with guns went after them. Now, I don't know if these dudes were cops or if they were just racist pricks in the town. At a junction, a silver car caused the truck to crash on its own without hitting it. So this woman got out of the silver car. A smartly dressed white woman got out of the car and she stared at Tick. And Tick yelled at Letty to just go. He was like, just drive the car. Now they get to Marvin's And at Marvin's, they talked about what he dug up on Devon County. There were reports of animal attacks, and the sheriff, Eustace Hunt, had many NAACP complaints on him. As for Arkham, it appeared to be in the middle of nowhere, and they knew it wouldn't be safe for them. They knew they were going to be in trouble on this road trip. They knew there was going to be a lot of danger on the way, so they were trying to get prepared for what was to come. Now this next part right here is when it started getting crazy, and I'm just going to call this part Sundown. So they drove into Devon County. George pulled over to figure out the way. Letty and Atticus get out of the car, and then a sheriff pulls up. The sheriff told them that they were in a sundown county. They had to be out of the county lines in 9 minutes. As they made their way out, the sheriff harassingly followed them, and they barely made it out in time. Unfortunately, they were stopped at a blockade after the train tracks after the county lines. The sheriff accused them of being burglars, and the deputies escorted them into the woods. This is when it started getting real crazy right here, and this is when I knew exactly that Jordan Peele had something to do with this show, because when they were in the woods, a whole bunch of monsters came out of nowhere, and one of them bit the sheriff. They knew it was time to run, so they end up running to find this abandoned like cabin or this little house or whatever. You know, Letty and Atticus go in there, and Uncle George is missing. So he's in the forest still, and he turns on a flashlight, and it seems like the light seems to hurt the monsters. It seems like these are some Dracula type monsters, and Uncle George figures this out, that the flashlight and any other lights seem to affect the monsters and it hurts them. So Letty ran to go get the car for the headlights, because they knew that they would need the headlights in order to scare these monsters away. And they had flares and everything. They were lighting up flares to keep the monsters away. Now in the house, they were hauled up with the sheriff and a deputy, and the sheriff turned into one of the monsters because the sheriff was bit and it looked like his arm was completely chewed off. So he turned into one of those things. The monsters went away after hearing a high-pitched shriek, and it seemed like the head monster, you know, the head honcho, was calling all of them back, and all the monsters scattered away. And I gotta say, these monsters looked real good. You know, the special effects and everything for the show looked real amazing for the budget that they had and everything. I think they did a good job with all the effects. Now as the sun came up, Tick, Letty, and George found themselves at a mansion. A white man opened the door and welcomed Tick home. This man said that he'd been expecting them. So I don't know who this man is, but we'll be finding out in the next episode. And I think in the next episode is when they're gonna introduce all the magic and the Lovecraft, the witchcraft, and everything like that. That's what the show is about. So, you know, this show is gonna be crazy. This first episode just had my heart pounding the entire time, especially when they were running from the sheriff, and it just had a little creepy vibe to it. And then when they get to the monsters, I'm like, damn, man, this show is crazy. I already knew I would like this show because I love Jordan Peele produced shows and movies. You know, I love the Twilight Zone that Jordan Peele does. I just love everything that Jordan Peele touches. So I just knew for a fact that this show was for me, and I'm so glad that I tuned in on Sunday night to watch it, and I can't wait for the next episode. I really can't. You know, Jordan Peele does an amazing job with Get Out, Us, and now he has Candyman coming out. He does the Twilight Zone. He's doing this. Man, I swear, everything Jordan Peele touches turns to gold, so I just had to tune in. But I thought this was an amazing episode. If I have to rate it, I'm going to give it 5 stars out of 5. You know, I really thought this was a good start to the series. What did you guys think of the episode of Lovecraft Country? Let me know down below in the comment section. Comment your thoughts, predictions, theories, and everything down below. Let me know what you thought, man. We got to talk about this show in the future. I'm going to be breaking this down every single week. I'm going to be doing the recaps. I might do the what to expects. But best believe the Lovecraft Country content is coming in the future. But keep supporting your boy, and I'll be continuing to bring y'all that Lovecraft Country content in the future. If you guys want to donate to the channel to help support the channel, I got links in the description to do so. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can never miss a video. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. It's your boy Futuristic Mike, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.